Hello and welcome to episode 91 of Draft Offsides. My name is Keith. I'm with Tico and Enzo. The season is over and we're kind of just shooting the shit. We don't really know what to do. So we have some stuff we're going to talk about, some general stuff, and then some fantasy stuff, and just going to be here.
That's so inspirational, Keith. Thank you.
I don't know what else to say.
No.
Am I wrong?
Could have been like, hey guys, this is Draft Offsides. We've got some great material for you coming this summer. We're going to bring in some draft excellence. We're going to bring in stats and like waivers and trades. But no, you had to go, we're here. Club World Cup is around the corner. Guess we have to do this. Might as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I feel like I just didn't want to oversell, but I guess you're kind of right. I could have acted like we had more stuff
Because we do have more stuff.
We got transfers, off-season numbers.
Okay, why you gotta make it American? Now we're gonna get fucking called out again.
Soccer news, baby.
Soccer news. Soccer. All right. Champions League final. That happened.
Yes, it
Pretty
did.
rough.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you don't want to watch that lopsided of a game, right?
It was the most lopsided victory in Champions League finals.
No, I hear that.
My take is that if PSG wouldn't have scored so early, it wouldn't have been so lopsided of a game. It was just the fact that Inter doesn't go behind often, so the fact that they went behind early, they kind of just lost the plot.
They didn't even open up.
I was going to say, can we talk about the opening kickoff though first? Before that, what was that about? What do you think that was about?
They just kicked it to Inter.
They just kicked it out of bounds in their half. It was fucking. Weird. I think it's all fucking. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're just playing your half all day. I've never seen that before.
I don't think it was intentional, but there were a lot of conspiracy people thinking it was some sort of thing.
It was there was no one running there. He just kicked it right in that area. It was definitely intentional.
It was weird. The whole game was weird. I mean, I didn't leave that feeling super satisfied.
Really, I enjoyed the game. Don't get me wrong. It was very, like you said, lopsided. But as a neutral, there was goals. It was good play. Don't get me wrong. I think Inter Milan just got stuck as soon as they let in that early goal. It was only going to get worse unless they change the way they play. I don't understand why DeMarco's still playing. Send him to the showers.
He's been good all season. He had a bad game.
I've watched him have a couple bad games where he's just got torn apart. He got ripped apart by Yamal and gets taken off.
Yeah, but who didn't get ripped up? That's Yamal.
Yeah, he's been.
Oh, is it Yamin Yamal? Is it? Is that good?
He's not. He couldn't even win the Young Player of the Tournament.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about this game? I mean, I guess for me, it's what does this mean tactically moving forward? PSG, is this going to be the new blueprint for every team? Not having a red designated. I feel like we've been trending back towards having designated strike, a big striker up top and stuff. And is this now are we going to start moving back towards the fluid front three and all these things that Luis Enrique
there's just not even a
champion
fluid front three. It's just a fluid team. The only people who stay in their position, I feel are the center backs and the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Sure. We talked about this. Hakimi was playing left wing. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he literally was the furthest person forward when he scored the goal.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Can they replicate this next season the way they play? Yeah, but are other teams going to get better? I believe so. Do I think that if they played, because you wrote it here, if they played Barcelona in the final, would it be a different story? We're never going to know. I definitely don't think it would have been 5-0. I think
PSG was just the best team, though.
Yeah.
So, a few things, takeaways. PSG was a deserving champion. Obviously, they were the best team throughout the whole tournament, especially the knockout stages. This team is a young team. I think their average age was 24, 25. Donnarumma's coming up for a contract. I'm assuming they'll throw the bank at him because they could afford to. They're also getting the championship bonus from the Champions League. So, I don't think they're going to lose any of their starting 11, any of their core players. They will bring on more players. They're going to add some more depth. And they have the luxury of playing in the Ligue 1 in France, where they could, throughout the year, they could rest a lot of their players, get ready for the Champions League. Can they repeat this? Obviously, we know going back-to-back is very difficult. Only one team has done it, Real Madrid. But I do think they're going to be competitive quarterfinals, semifinal in the next, in the foreseeable future. Can Dembele repeat this season?
Do you think it's because of the new format? Because they had a terrible league. They had a terrible start.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it allowed them to stay in it. They probably would have gotten knocked out with the form they had. Maybe not.
But they lost Mbappe, so it was a large adjustment. It did take time for them to kind of find their rhythm and get into the groove.
So, kind of you saying you think they'll be good. I agree. But then, the wild thing about right now is that we literally jumping right into another major tournament. So there's the Club World Cup going on. So then, do you consider them the favorites to win that as well?
I think it depends how seriously they take the competition, because they played the most games in the competition. Is Inter going to be partaking in it or no?
Yeah, totally.
So Inter and them are going to have they play the most games in the Champions League regular season. They won the treble. What value do they place on this? But again, they're
money talks.
But if there's only a handful of teams that don't care about money in general, and I think they're one of them.
Honestly,
over and over.
If you really look at, have you seen some of the teams that are in there? Like,
I'm looking at that. I'm looking at it right now.
Like, there's some Japanese teams in there, some Saudi teams in there,
Australian teams.
Australia. You think that like those? No offense to them, at all, but they can't hold a candle for the most part to the European teams.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone expects them to. I think the only thing that might be a little different is that like all the European teams are coming off the end of a season, and a lot of players are tired. What Tico's talking about, like maybe some of will rest some guys. Where like some of these other clubs and seasons are like just starting or midway through, and like guys will be like a little fitter, they'll be a little sharper, and like obviously the better players will ultimately win out. But I could see there being some upsets here and there, or some surprise results, or some some stuff happening.
Let's look at the PSG schedule in the group stage for the Club World Cup. So the first match is Atletico Madrid. That's never an easy game. Then they play Botafogo. Is that from Argentina? I'm not sure. And then they play Seattle Sounders.
Brazil. Brazil.
So the second and third game, they could just, again, cruise control. No offense to them, obviously, but those two teams.
Yeah. Am I going to watch some of the games? Yeah, of course I'm going to watch some of the games. What else am I going to do? Am I as invested in the Club World Cup as some of these teams might be? I don't fucking think so. That's just me personally, though. I know there's some people that are very excited because, especially the fans that are over here in the States that want to go watch football. But I always just feel so disappointed when I watch football, like when they have the friendlies or when they have like the tournaments over here that are like lackluster tournaments. This might be different, like you said, Q, because of the money, but I'm just not as invested.
I think, Tico, to your point about like they have the who really cares about the money. For most of these clubs, they care a lot. I think there's maybe just a select few that do not care, and it's the Chelseas, it's the PSGs, and even though they don't care about the money, what they do care about is PSR stuff. So the further they get, the more money they can spend, because all these clubs now are capped with how much they can spend every season. You know what I mean? For Europe and stuff. So this, like, I don't think it's a matter of like for the bigger clubs, it's not a matter of like, oh, we have 50 more million to spend. It's we're going to be allowed to spend 50 more without violating PSR, without violating this and that. So I think that's the incentive. But that's a question of how do you translate that to the players, and are the players going to just be exhausted, not give a shit?
That's what I'm saying, man. The risk is too high for me.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be interesting. I think this will become a bigger thing, but something's got to give eventually with all this, all these games. I think the other exciting thing about it is like maybe there could be like a few guys that come through that all of a sudden are like have breakouts. Some guy from like Botafogo who becomes a star when he scores against Atletico Madrid. You know what I mean? Like how cool would that be?
You think it's going to be like the World Cup when there's like a star player and they get bought?
I think that's very possible, and I think that's fun. That's like one of the best parts about the World Cup is like all of a sudden there's like some kid from Uruguay,
James Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly. Like those stories are amazing.
Yeah.
I would care for that.
So I think that alone is kind of worth it. And anything else here? Should we move on?
No, just be wary of any injuries or knocks you might see playing.
That's a
worry.
The dreaded issue, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk transfers. So Liverpool rejected a $130 million bid for Florian Wirtz.
By Leverkusen?
Yeah, but everyone expects that deal to still happen, right? Is that kind of the general? Is that what you guys are seeing?
I can't believe they rejected it. Do you think they try to do the whole 6-year fucking payment plan like Man United always tries to do?
Yeah, you think, or you wonder if it was the total or how they're doing it. Mm-hmm. It's weird, but I think they also know that Liverpool has a ton of money to spend.
Yeah, but still, 130 millions.
I can imagine that Florian Wirtz is kind of pissed because like I have a feeling that they had like a little bit of a handshake agreement that like, okay, if a sizable bid comes in, we won't stand in your way. Mm-hmm. I think 130 mil is a pretty sizable bid.
It's a fucking big bid. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So, a little weird.
Well, they know they're about to start to have to fucking rebuild right now because they're losing fucking their
They're losing a bunch
manager,
of players.
they're
Yeah.
losing players. So
Ten
I
Hag is going to
wonder
be there.
the reason they
Mhm.
rejected that is this was one of the first transfer rumors we heard during when the season opened. It was pretty, Wirtz said he wanted to go there. But after this, in the last couple of days, we talked. Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz got linked to Saudi, so maybe Bayer Leverkusen it's like, hey, they're going to come across more money. Let's just hold off for another few days, see how much they sell them for, and then they might get an extra 10, 20 million for a club like that. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a point. I also want to clarify something. We talked about last episode about Florian Wirtz and where you think he'd go in drafts, and I did a little digging into his numbers for the last 2 Bundesliga seasons and how like his goals, assists, and all the fantasy scoring categories and how that would match him up to like in the Premier League. Let's pretend that those numbers are happening in the Premier League and where he would live, and each of his last 2 seasons he would have scored like roughly like 100 or 430-ish points, which would have been good enough for 11th ish each season. So with that in mind, and also assuming that there's going to be like some sort of adjustment period, even if you think he's the best player, there's probably going to be a little bit of an adjustment. So I'm bumping him back to like mid to late second.
He's also going from being like the main guy to not being the main guy.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's going to make a difference for him or not, but
yeah, it's a new system too. I mean, no matter what, he's definitely not going to be playing in a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 or whatever he played in.
Yeah, he ain't gonna play on that.
So,
Well, you never know. Maybe he might be. Maybe Arnie Slot freaking changes everything up.
He is getting 2 wing backs, so
would make sense.
it is possible. But yeah, so I mean, that's just something with Wirtz. Another one is Cunha. I think that's officially official now.
Bro, wow.
Official.
What is up with all these? Like, look, I'm gonna say it. I know Man United is a big club, but what is up with all these players wanting to go there? Now they don't even have European football. I know there's an allure there, but over the last few years, it's just been a decline.
I mean, so we're gonna get to a point where like there's gonna be young kids that don't want to go there because they're just like, what is this club? I've never seen this club good. Like Cunha is still of the age where he grew up watching Man United be a certain level, right? But like the next generation is like Due probably is like Man United. You know what I mean? Like Lamine Yamal has never seen Man United good.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think like there's some level of prestige. I also think there's some level of just money. Like I know like Cunha and Mbeumo, like these guys, like they're going there. I'm sure they're being offered more money to go there than they were to other places.
Honestly, man, yeah, maybe. I think Man United should be doing something completely different though. They shouldn't be doing this again.
What it seems like they're not learning their lesson. Like when Liverpool got bad, Liverpool did a really good about just like kind of trying to buy some role players and invest in youth and just really kind of like not reset, but like kind of change how they did things after that disaster that was like Andy Carroll and all those guys, all those British guys they signed under who was that under? Was it Brendan Rodgers or was it under Kenny Dalglish? But yeah, but I feel like United, like they've had that like rock bottom moment, but instead of being like, okay, let's rebuild, we're like, okay, we're gonna do the exact same thing we just tried, which is just to buy players for now.
Exactly.
You know,
don't get me wrong, Cunha's in my opinion, he's a great player, but is he the answer? I don't think so. I think they need to fix the hole in their roof, upgrade their training grounds, and start rebuilding their youth system.
I thought that was a metaphor for the shaky defense, the hole in the roof. But yeah, no, you're totally right. Another thing to note about Cunha is his XG over performance in each of the last 2 seasons has been like huge.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying, I mean, really good players overperform their XG, and I'm not saying he's not a really good player, but it is something that I'm like a little like weary of, you know?
Like, I think I'll be weary, but if it was the Man United of old and he get lost in the amount of stars out there, then maybe. But he could be the main man there, especially if Bruno goes. He could be the main guy.
I still can't believe that's a possibility, and I don't know. This seems wild. Let's say they get 100 million. How do they in order to replace Bruno, they're gonna have to like spend 100 million to get anyone that's of that.
Well, they've already going to get Cunha, so that'll be part of it. You don't have to spend 100 million to spend on one player. You got to replace him with several.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean that's it's hard to make that work. I guess the other thing United related is Mbeumo is being rumored all today to be going there. So what does that look like? Is it Cunha and Mbeumo in the 10s, Bruno playing deeper in a deeper role next to like Ugarte in the 6s?
Is Mbeumo gonna play? Is he gonna have Diallo and Mbeumo playing fucking wingbacks? Because that would be so horrible.
And Mbeumo, no, there's no way that you buy him.
But he's not even like, if you see the way his wingbacks really play, maybe he just wants them to push up. Because Diallo doesn't really play defense when he plays wingback.
Yeah, I think Diallo is the biggest loser from the if Cunha and Mbeumo are both there. I think Diallo is the one that struggles.
Which is interesting because you were mentioning a couple episodes ago how points per start he's ranked. What was he like? Top 10, top 12?
I think he's like 7th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, so that's going to be and also it's like whenever a club struggles, they have to rebuild and kind of strengthen their academy and have like younger players grow up within the club, which Diallo seemed to fit the mold. But now with all these players coming in, and if he's going to take a backseat, that's going to be pretty shitty.
100%. I just feel like, I think what ends up happening is that Amram, he's going to have to play him, but then he's going to play wing back, and like Diallo can do a job there, but I think there's a lot defensively. He's probably not the best, and I think it leaves them exposed in certain ways.
You think there's a chance that Mbeumo plays up front on his own? You think that's their answer?
No. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, Højlund is linked to be sold to Inter Milan.
I did see that.
They're getting rid of, and I think Xerxes has one leg out the door as well. So if they're getting rid of both of their strikers,
and Garnacho, and Anthony.
So yeah, there's a world where maybe Cunha can play as a striker too.
That too, but then where would you put Mbeumo? It just doesn't make sense for him to be a 10.
You don't think he's
he plays best on the wings? Like that's where he is. He's a forward on the right or the left. That's where he plays best.
He's played in those positions before with Brentford, and he's looked good. I think he's a good enough player to make it work. It's definitely not the norm, but yeah.
I think that's something to look at too with Brentford. I think it looks like a bunch of guys are trying to get out of Dodge right now because they can see what's coming.
Which is Thomas Frank probably leaving.
And a couple of players following suit after that. So it'll be interesting. And who's on Brentford? You got Wissa and Mbeumo. Damsgaard. Is it Damsgaard?
Yeah, Damsgaard's been great.
Damsgaard's been great.
Flecken left. He's going to Bayern
left.
Leverkusen.
Kelleher's there now.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've got Kelleher. I think he's
Norgard.
Norgard. I think Kelleher's going to be a good guy. He's going to be a reborn Flecken. I think he's going to be the same because he's going to get a lot of shots taken against him. And if he does anything like Liverpool, he's going to get a lot of points.
Yeah, so much of that goalkeeper position is just opportunity to block shots.
It is.
It's so weird because Manchester United is ruining so many potential first round players. Cunha potential first rounder, and Mbeumo potential first rounder, Diallo potential first rounder. Now, if all of those three are going to be playing in Man United, do you feel comfortable taking any of those in the first round?
Well, that's what I mean, and that's what I was saying. Is like, do you really feel comfortable taking potentially 5 guys from the first 15 picks in? That are all on the same team. that a team that got 15th last season.
Yeah, Diallo, Mbeumo, Cunha. Bruno.
If Bruno stays, yeah. Onana.
No, hell no.
It's and
that is,
and nasty. It's also going to be who's going to play on the left side for them.
I think their business isn't done yet. Like I heard Garnacho and Nats need to buy Leverkusen. I heard that they'll follow Ten Hag, and then I don't know about Kobe Manu if he's going to come back and he's going to come back the same player.
That's another wild one. That the fact that they might sell him.
Yeah,
that just seems like you literally have this kid that you've had for so many years. And he starts to break out, and then you immediately sell him. It seems very Chelsea to do. It doesn't seem like something.
But remember, it's very PSR. Like you get more credit for selling a homegrown player. That's the problem. But we're going to see Man United. It's going to be nuts.
The amount of talent they're bringing in, though, and like I feel like we say this every year, but it's like, the amount of investment. You're like, how can you not be good? If you have Cunha and Mbeumo, you know what I mean? Like you have such a good team. All of a sudden your team's looking so good. Like how do you not get this? How do you not figure this out?
Look, it just how many famous footballers who've been at the club have said the same thing. It starts from the fucking top. Starts from the top.
Yeah. All right. Jeremy Frimpong. I did the same thing I did with Wirtz, where I looked at his numbers over the last few years. A little good, not great. Like he had 5 goals, 5 assists, which is pretty elite for a defender, right?
Did Murillo have something? Not Murillo. Muñez.
Muñez had exactly. He had 6-4, and then Anthony Robinson had 10 assists. Yeah. So there's a few of those core guys that are like definitely in that same kind of area. But I was really underwhelmed with his successful dribbles. 22. That's pretty low. Like I know he's a defender, but even still, key passes 28, not
like-
that high.
I like
Accurate
that, though.
crosses 20. Like none of those numbers were in the elite level, even for defenders. Much less for, whatever.
Does he play on the right side or the left side?
Right side.
Plays on the right side.
Right side.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like I still think he's gonna be like good, but like none of his numbers are like game breaking numbers. And so then it's like at that point it's like there's 3 to 5 defenders I think just you'd rather take than him, just from the sense of like that he's new to the league and whatever, just the uncertainty. So I think you're still always taking Munez, Antonio Robinson, Pedro Porro, and then it's like, and then very possibly you're gonna take a few other guys now, like at Nori potentially if he goes to Man City.
Arsenal defenders.
Fuck it, hell.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that.
Vardiol maybe.
Even Kirkheads.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just all these names. I think he falls more into that like second tier than he is in that top tier with those 3 names.
I think someone's going to pull the trigger on him.
Probably.
And they'll put it early.
Yeah.
But it's just because he plays for Liverpool. Simple
That's
as
it.
that.
Well, that and the name.
His replacing Trent, so you would think he might be able to similar. But Keith, you mentioned Gvardiol and Altanuri going to Man City. I think if he goes to Man City, Gvardiol value goes down because he was at his best when Gvardiol was playing at the left.
Yeah, because you saw him up the pitch. Yeah.
So if he plays center back,
Yeah, you're totally right there. But I'm just saying there's names ahead, whatever those names might be.
Yeah.
We can dig into it a little further as we go through. The last kind of name on the rumors thing on here is Liam Delap. It's officially confirmed going to Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good deal. Like I think Chelsea saw that, but like I heard someone else say this, and I thought it was a good point. Is like they sell him, or they bought him for 30 million. If they turned around and tried to sell him tomorrow, they could sell him for more than they bought him today. Just that buyout clause was lower than what his value is.
30 million, man.
So that's good. So I think that's good, and like give Jackson some competition. And there's even rumors that Chelsea might be in for one more striker. So I think that's. But I think it's just that whole position is very. I think a lot of the Chelsea attackers are very muddled. Like there's no like Noni is does enough, and then like Pedro Neto is kind of underwhelming, and then like the strikers, if Delap and Jackson, like I don't know who's gonna win that battle. It's not like there's like a clear cut guy. You know what I mean?
I'd say Jackson starts. I think he starts the season.
But like I feel like a lot of people don't think like that. I feel like Sergey's he's on mute, but I feel like he's gonna want to say that they're gonna bench Jackson.
And so what's the benefit of starting Jackson?
Because Jackson has got better season by season. Am I right in saying that?
Well, kind of.
In what sense?
He was doing really well in the first half of the season, but he had a
terrible
injury.
Yeah,
and he dropped off. And
so
are we just talking about goals scored?
Goals scored, like
general play.
General play.
Nope. He had 14 goals the first year, 10 goals the second. He played 5 less games.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And what about dribble completion and all that?
Let me put.
I mean, he was out for a chunk.
He was out for a chunk. And wait, where's Jackson from?
Senegal.
So he's going for the African nations too, isn't
he? Yeah.
Oh.
And wait, didn't Jackson get a red card?
Yeah, so he's suspended for the first game of the season.
So Delap's going to get the start.
Delap's going to get a start.
Yeah. Or I mean, there's other names that are Chelsea are in the mix for too. So who knows?
Oh no, it's gonna be an interesting season for Chelsea because they got Champions League, so it's gonna be fun to see these players because he's gonna be rotating. I don't think he's gonna be sticking to the same team. Or do you think he's gonna stick to the same team?
No, I think he'll be more rotating. I'll tell you what though, I'm not really that excited about any of the Chelsea attackers other than Cole Palmer for the first few rounds because I think it's just there's too much uncertainty about who's gonna be playing.
God, you guys ruined Neto. I loved him.
So
we'll see. We'll see. He still has time to bounce back as a player.
So for Nico Jackson. This year he played 30 games, started 28. Last year he was 35 and 31. 10 goals, 5 assists this year. He had 35 shots on target and 76 total shots. Last year, 14 goals, 5 assists, 41 shots and 41 shots on target and 80 shots.
Yeah.
I wonder what that percentage is. Like 50% on target seems pretty bad, but in 5 games, he's not going to score an extra 4 goals.
But but here's the thing though, is that he got rushed back from injury and looked really bad after he came back. So I think there's these factors, like when the raw numbers are a little harsh on him, considering just how the season went.
Well, to me, it's where do you rank as Nico Jackson's ceiling? I don't think he is going to be much better. than what he is. Maybe
we-
he'll be a little better touch, a little refined. Whereas Delap, you don't know what you're getting. Why not give him the chance? You could always bench Delap.
But that was going to be my question, mate. Like, what are you going to get? What different are you going to get from Delap?
Stronger.
Yeah, but are you going to get more
of
goals?
A physical presence.
Are you going to get more goals?
Potentially. I think it's a pretty healthy competition between the two. I think like this season will be a pretty healthy like I don't think there's going to be a clear-cut guy. I think it's going to be like prove it. Like who plays better on the field. You know, it's not going to be like a 1-2 type thing, which is good. I think could be a good thing.
It could be, but you want that solid guy up front that you can rely on week in, week out. That's
but we might have that guy after 3 months. After 3 months, it might be super clear. Delap is the guy, and he's scoring all these goals. Or Jackson plays like he did in the first half of last season, and is the guy again. Because like there's a period in the first half of last season where no one was talking shit on Jackson. Everyone was pretty much like, "Oh, this guy's doing it."
Tico was.
I was talking shit.
Yeah, Tico was always talking shit. But yeah, I hear you. Can we talk about what we think is going to happen? I know it's not being exciting. I know we just spoke about Chelsea, but what's going on with Tottenham? You think? I haven't heard no rumors. Manager's still sitting there waiting, fucking to get his papers to leave.
I think
or to stay.
A lot of business
or to stay.
I think there's going to be business done, and it's going to happen once the manager gets decided, right?
Which I read is going to be decided sometime this week, by the end of this week.
So the names I've heard are Thomas Frank and Inzaghi, potentially.
I heard Inzaghi, and I heard what's his name, Areola.
Oh yeah, Areola from Bournemouth. So I think any three of those would be really exciting for you.
I don't want Inzaghi.
You don't want Inzaghi. The guy who's just literally taken Inter to 2 Champions Leagues in the last 3 years with a team that's been like, that's been very like old and
don't want him.
Why?
Just plays too defensive, and we ain't got the players to do that. He plays counter-attack.
I don't know how true that is though.
But he just plays. He sits in the back. He sucks in and plays counter-attack football. And the one thing I do like about it, he plays 2 up top. I do like the 2 up top. I miss that.
Inter had Inter had the best goal difference.
Yeah, but how many goals did they score? Yeah, but how many goals they scored? And how many did they let in? They didn't really let in that many. That's the reason why.
I think they were pretty good. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but
let's see.
But I think that, I mean, do you have it up, Chico? Can you pull it up?
They scored the most goals in Serie A.
Yeah.
What?
79 goals. They let in 35. And they had the best goal differential.
And they still lost to Napoli.
And they had the second best defense.
Yeah, because they played 20 more games than Napoli did this season.
That's true.
With an old squad.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I was thinking about this the other day. I actually think Tottenham would be very good in a back 3 system too. Because imagine a midfield 4 of like Sarr, Bissouma, and then ahead of them are Madison and Kulusevski in like a box midfield. Like that would be great. And then you have Solanke ahead of that. Then you have wingbacks. You know, like I feel like.
Don't know, mate. Believable.
Great.
I'm not sure. Just not sure.
But I think any of those guys would be great. And I think once that happens, Tottenham, there'll be some action transfer action because I feel like Tottenham really needs to get some new players in.
I'd like to get Frank, perfectly honest.
I think he'd be a great manager for you guys.
I think he'd be a great manager for us.
What he's done at Brentford is pretty amazing.
And the starter player I like. I want to see nice football.
Fair enough. All right, any other transfer stuff we're going to chat through?
Tico, who gave away Luis Diaz, might be going.
What's going on? I'm choosing not to believe that.
Really? I heard they've made him the number 1 target for Saudi League.
Yeah, but like, what does that mean? Like, if Luis Diaz doesn't want to go, he's not going to want to go.
It means they're going to throw out a stupid fucking
I thought
bid.
Bruno Fernandes was the number 1 target for the Saudi League.
No, I thought for a different team. Al Hilal wants Diaz. I think someone else wants fucking Bruno. I don't know. I forget all their names.
I'm just hoping that I think the word's been getting around that it's not that fun to be in Saudi because you hear all these guys that are trying to come back early from their contracts.
How many of them have done it too? A lot of them have done it.
I think people are realizing it's not that.
But who's come back though?
Henderson left. Who's the striker?
Sadio Mane is trying to get out of his. Like Cristiano Ronaldo completed his contract and was like had no interest in going back, like staying.
But, Fabrizio Romano sent out a tweet talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, saying how they're committing to Cristiano Ronaldo, that they're going to put an offer for Luis Diaz and a couple other big names, including a manager. And I actually just pulled up Fabrizio Romano's Twitter account. Al Hilal are going to go after Inzaghi as their manager.
Oh my God, they're just stop. It's the Chinese Super League all over again. Just stop.
But there's even more money.
But I know
It's
there's more
not,
money.
yeah.
I know there's more money, but
Way
it
more
died
money.
out after a while. They ruined some. Remember Oscar? He went there, disappeared.
He made so much money though.
He
He's
made
fine.
so
He's
much
chilling.
money. I know he did, but he was an amazing
You know,
player.
he's only like
He was not an amazing player.
he was a very good
Oscar
player.
was a very good
He
player.
was a very good player. He's
He was
only
a
like
good player.
29. He's only like 30. He's not that old.
And who else went there? Hulk went there. Love Hulk.
Hulk, yeah,
Fucking
from
love
Porto.
Hulk. Yeah, loved him.
Milos Kirkes said yes to Liverpool.
Yes.
Bloody hell.
I think that is exciting. I don't know where that exactly fits into my rankings yet, though.
You remember how tight it was between 3rd and 7th? It's not going to happen again next season. They're
What do you
fucking
mean, 3rd and 7th?
like point wise. Everyone's teams are getting just cherry picked. Like all those teams that stole a point here, stole a win there, all their best players are all getting cherry picked. Brentford, Bournemouth, all these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one. I mean, there's been a lot of bad things with PSR, but one of the only good things about PSR was that, like, some of the Premier League teams couldn't afford to poach some of the lower teams' best players. But you're starting to see it a little more. I think they've been like saving up. They've been storing
They've been
away their money in the piggy bank.
Well,
and
was
now
it
they're
the
doing
last couple of years hasn't been that active? I know there's been a couple of teams that have been active, but as a league, we haven't been too active, right?
Yeah, they've been significantly less active for sure. All right, going into some more just random stuff. I have 2 things. Tell me if either of these interest you. I have like a would you rather game with some names. You guys just tell me who would you rather draft.
Let's go.
Okay. Or I was gonna do a thing where let's do that first, and then I have a thing where I was gonna pull up like a spin the wheel, and we're gonna spin and see because I've done my rankings for the first 50 players for next year, like early rankings.
This guy.
I'm a psychopath. I didn't have much going on this weekend, and I thought it'd be funny to spin, and I'll tell you the name of who the player is, and you can tell me if you think I'm undervaluing him or overvaluing him.
Let's go.
Okay, so which one first?
So, would you
Spinning game.
Spinning game. Okay.
That's the spinning game. Are you gonna pop it up? You're gonna share your screen?
I'm gonna do the entire screen. You ready for this, boys?
Yeah.
Next level shit.
Let's do it. I'm waiting.
You see the screen?
No.
What do you see?
I see you. There we go. Now I see
There we go.
We're back.
There we go.
Okay, ready for the spin? Spin number 1.
Spin number 1.
No sound effect. Kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh man, there is a sound effect on my end. Sound effect on my end.
38.
Hey. 38. 38 on my preliminary ranking is Johan Wissa.
4th round.
4th round. Undervalue, overvalue. I know you guys haven't done any research yet, so it's very gut checky. But what do you think?
Well, going from what Sergey had said at the breakfast, where he said that's one of his best ones, and he has performed well this season. I do remember him scoring a few goals, and with Mbeumo, if Mbeumo does go to Man United, it makes him really the main guy. But does that affect him also creativity wise? Does he get more chances? I say he's about right.
What do you think, Tico?
So he was ranked 20th this year. But no, I think he's ranked. I think he'll go before that though.
You think he'll go before that?
I think he'll go before 38.
You think he'll go 3rd round?
Early 30s. Late 3rd round, early 4th.
So he's points per start with players that have played 10 or more games. He's ranked 33rd with 11.5 points per start. He played in 31 games. He started 31 games, started 97% of the games that he was available for.
Where's Wissa from?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is he another one going to AFCON? Because it just fucks it up, bro.
French. Let me see. Does he play for the French
he plays for
team?
Congo. He
Plays
plays
for
for Congo
Congo.
national team.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, I think that I'm concerned. I think like your points are valid. My concern, the reason he's a little lower than I had him. Oops, that looks psycho.
Look at that.
Whoa,
Looks
so many
crazy.
of me.
The reason he's a little lower is just because of all the things you said, AFCON and everything, but also the fact that like Mbeumo leaving, Thomas Frank leaving, all these things I think can have a huge impact on him. Okay, want me to spin again?
Yeah, let's do 2 more.
Okay. Oh man, high number again.
It's okay.
43. 43 we have Chris Wood.
I think Ryan would say that's a bit too high for him. I think he should go like 4th round. With the season he's had, where's Nottingham Forest is what, Conference League? Or the Europa?
Europe. They finished 5th now.
No. They didn't finish 5th, did they?
They finished
7th?
7th. So they're in conference.
Yeah. Right? So we'll be playing a few more games unless they'll look into invest into another striker. You know what? Actually, no, that might be right. I don't think he's going to have another season like he did this year. Don't care what Ryan says this time.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for him is that it's like his points like he had a great season. Like
he had a great season.
Denied everyone's expectations. He averaged 11 points per start, which is good enough for like 55th, which is it's really good. But it wasn't this elite thing because even though he scored a ton of goals, that's kind of if he's not scoring that many goals, he's not getting there. You know.
Yeah.
So let's even account for the fact that they kind of started not playing well by the end of the season too. And that's probably not like their level. I'm not saying that they weren't good enough, but like, yeah, I even think like 44. I'm not like even that number. I'm not like or 43rd or whatever. I'm like not that pumped on.
I was gonna say, but
you'd
be happy to get him in the 5th round, wouldn't you?
I think you're happy in the from a value standpoint. You'd be like, okay, like at this price, too good to pass up. But I wouldn't be sitting there being like, yes, Chris Wood, I'm so excited. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not like an Iwobi pick, you know what I mean? So.
But so he doesn't follow into your money ball. Chris Wood isn't one of your money ball guys, Enzo. You know,
maybe, but it won't be that early.
His coming off of a career year, and he's gonna turn 33, 34. The only way I draft him if he's like available very late on. I think he'll be selected by 43rd, but I probably value him lower than that. I rather take a chance on someone else that could potentially have a bigger year than on Wood, who. Let's remember, at the start of the year, a lot of people thought Forest might be in battle for relegation.
Yeah. A question. Yeah. Where do you have Alanga?
I don't quite have him in the top. He's like probably like
have him top 50?
52, 53 in the 6th.
Really?
I think the 6th round.
What was his points per start? Because he had a good season too. Not a great season, but he had a good season too.
Let's look. I think the other thing, Alanga, I have him. He was 9.8 points per start, so he was 88th overall.
Gotcha.
I think the Chris Wood, Tico, to your point, like coming off a career year, I'm just a little weary of a guy who's like 32 coming off a career year,
aging on a not that great
expectation
of a team.
that he's going to be as good as
not that great of a team. They came 7th.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Last spin.
Let's
shut up.
I was gonna say change the max number from 50 to 15, so we get like a top 15 player. Oh, yeah, that sound now.
19. Is that better? Are you happy, Tico?
A little happier.
Okay, this will be an interesting one.
Second round.
Min.
Ooh.
19. What do you think? End of the 2nd round.
I'd be happy to get him at the end of the 2nd round.
Absolutely not.
You're not
I'm taking him at the end of no. And the 2nd round?
Yeah. But he had a good season also. And
that's the thing is I feel. Go ahead.
And like with the changes that might be happening, imagine him under Thomas Frank, or even imagine him against with Areola. The more attacking play, going down the wings, he'll put more crosses in, he'll cut in more. We'll see. Hopefully, we'd see the son of old that was taking shots from outside the fucking box because he wasn't doing that all this season.
My guy, you're not gonna see the son of old. You're gonna see an old son.
He's only 32.
Even if he has a little bit of a decline this season, he ended up with 12.6 points per start, which was good enough for like 25th overall, like ish. So I'm just saying that like this was like a bad underwhelming season. I feel like everyone was very disappointed, and like I still pretty good. When you start to look at the names around him, like it's like would you really draft like Savio before you draft Son Heung-min when you know Savio's only going to start 50% of the games he's available for? Yakuba Minta. You know what I mean? Like guys like that. Like you don't feel great about guys like that.
I hear you.
So that's the logic there. But that's definitely like a. I think that one's going to divide opinions.
Yeah, it's going to be like late second, early third.
Yes,
Tika won't
I think
draft
that's the
him until
range.
5th round.
Well, he would, yeah. So he just won't. He won't be seeing him.
No.
All right.
Please,
Was
I
that
hope
fun?
you or Chris take him in the 2nd round. This is fun.
Was the wheel fun?
The wheel was fun. I like that. We'll do it again.
Okay. Cool. Okay, next game. Would you rather? Fantasy edition. Okay. Some of these are easier than others. Let's start off with an easy one for you guys. Would you rather Luis Diaz or Florian Wirtz?
Luis Diaz. Just because I already know what I'm going to get.
Wirtz. Wildcard, baby.
Yeah,
Upside?
wildcard.
So it's safety. Essentially, it's safety versus upside, like the unknown versus the known.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I was really impressed with Luis Diaz's numbers overall. He had a really explosive, good season. I think that his biggest issue is that he only of games he was available for, like he was on the bench for, or he was like in the squad for. He only started 74% of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big chunk of games where he's healthy and not starting.
Yeah, that's interesting because his parents didn't get kidnapped this year.
But the other thing that's weird about him is he started 26 games, but he came off the bench. He played in like 36. So there was 10 games where he came off the bench too, which is just like it's just a little doesn't feel great.
Was that more you think rotation for Champions League? Because I know he played a lot of Champions League games, didn't he?
Maybe that. Maybe they have Gakpo. They have all these other pieces. So I think Arne Slot was probably just being smart. Like rotation.
Yeah,
sure. But Mohamed Salah started every single game, so he's like immune to rotation.
Yeah, it's Mo Salah.
So. All right, next one. Would you rather draft Enzo Fernandez or Martin Odegaard?
Go on, Tigger. You go first on this one.
Oh, Martin Odegaard. It's
Easy?
not even. It's. I don't know what Enzo's doing over here.
I think Enzo's still going to be a fuckface and a fuckboy, and he's going to score. He's going to score some goals, and he's playing in a Chelsea team that's now in Champions League. That's the only difference. But I've seen Martin Odegaard play in an Arsenal team that's come second for 3 years, and not get past good teams in the Champions League. I don't know. And he had what? You know what? I don't know. It's pretty 50-50, but I like Enzo Fernandez more upside.
So you're talking about upside ends, and you're saying you like Enzo's upside more. Odegaard was the first rounder. So this year, obviously, he was injured. Never got into Arsenal as a team. They didn't score a lot of goals.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 years, he's averaged over 13 points a game.
Okay.
8 goals, 10 assists, 15 goals, 7 assists.
Okay, what did he do this year?
This was his a bad year. His worst year in the EPL, and he still averaged 9.4 points.
Okay, but what did he do? I'm not saying he's a bad player. It's just one or the other, mate, and that's all it is.
I think it's that same thing where it's like I do believe that do you think Odegaard's going to bounce back? And do you believe that Enzo Fernandez is this the norm or is this like a high for Enzo Fernandez?
Well, you said it before, Keith, with Enzo Fernandez. He was playing a lot higher in this team, so he's got more attacking opportunity. Yes. He was contributing more.
Tactically, Maresca is really good for him. Sure.
Martin Odegaard, no doubt he's a great player. I think he's a really good player. Really good player. There's a reason where he came from Real Madrid, and they just didn't have space for him. Odegaard's a good player. He was great at Atletico Bilbao. He's had a good start, but they've always said he's a little bit more reliant on having a Saka there. When Saka's not there, which honestly Saka usually is, he doesn't really play well. He's in the shadow.
Yeah, I mean, Saka wasn't there for a big chunk of the season when Odegaard was back and didn't look great. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting one. Okay, ready for the next one? Would you rather Omar Marmoush or Ollie Watkins?
Marmoush, unless Watkins goes to Arsenal.
If Watkins goes to
Man, we talked about this last week. I don't want to be on the Omar Marmoush roller coaster, but at the same time, Watkins got benched. So if Watkins goes to Arsenal or any other team, obviously we'll go over there. But I'll go with Watkins.
Did Watkins get benched, or was he just getting rotated?
He
got in Champions League.
Nah, he got fucking benched.
You guys feel you really felt like
benched.
He got benched?
Yeah, he got benched. He got benched. He got benched when Duran was there, and then he came back and started a few games and couldn't score a goal. He got benched again.
I mean, he's had 16 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
That's a little harsh.
Is Villa in Europa or Champions?
Villa is in nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Oh, that's right. They're in nothing.
Yeah.
This might
No,
be.
they finished 6th. Aren't they in Europa? No,
They're-
6th Europa.
No, they're out because they were upset. Maybe they were pissed.
No, Wood.
There's the orange
Palace
line
ahead of
next to them at the table.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Forest is in nothing, I guess, or conference.
No, that's
but
not right.
No, Forest is in something.
Oh, maybe you're right. You're totally right. Villa is going to be in Europa. You're totally right. Yes.
Who missed out? Was it because Newcastle made it through?
No one really missed out. It was just a matter of
Champions
who's going to
League.
play. Yeah, Champions League. They missed
League.
out of Champions League.
So they're going to be in Europa, and that is Mr. What's his name? Manager?
Mr. Cup.
Mr. Emery. Mr. Emery.
Who's won the Europa multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your answer then, Tico?
No, Watkins. Also, Asensio's probably going back to PSG, which, and also Rashford's not going back. So they're running thin on their options. The 2 players that benched them essentially are no longer on the team.
I'm feeling really great about these because you guys have literally picked the opposite for each one of these, which I love.
I think we just got different ideas, but
Moneyball versus first place ball.
The results speak for themselves.
He's come first once. Where did you come in the other leagues the years before?
Dead last. No, not dead last. Not good.
Not fucking podium. That's for fucking damn sure. Leicester City, motherfucker.
All right, let's. I have 2 more. Let's do this quick.
Wait, he has to shit on me. I don't get to.
Okay, go.
Go and fucking hang your participation banners on your background. I have a trophy.
Yeah, can we carry on now? He's had his little moment.
Okay, that was it. Next one. Let's be quicker. We're going longer than I anticipated. Dwight McNeil or Gabriel Martinelli?
Dwight McNeil.
McNeil. I think I would go that too, and it's so unsexy that you feel like I'd be like pumped though if I got McNeil.
It's when you feel a little bit dirty, but you do.
Yeah,
still do
but
it.
you know you're right. Like mathematically, you know you're right, but it doesn't feel good. But it feels good. Okay, next one. Alex Iwobi or Morgan Rogers?
Morgan Rogers.
I go Alex Iwobi.
Why?
When you look at his number, because Rogers is really exciting, but when you look at his numbers, his average like points per start was like in the 9s. Iwobi's was significantly higher. Iwobi had a ton of goal involvements. He's like the main man. Or he's one of the main men at Fulham. Like Rogers, I could see just being part of rotation under Emery. And he's young and he has the potential to grow and develop, but
And Iwobi gets those Iwobi points.
yeah, those are Iwobi points. You just getting points for just being out there. All right. The last thing we're doing is we're gonna just chat through. Tico pulled together some stats, and do you want to break it down, Tico? Essentially, you pulled every single team and how many total points every single player on that team contributed.
Yeah. So essentially, for the entirety of the year, all of their players was the total of their points, and then I also did the average points per player. Yes, Anza?
Interesting.
Did you do every single player, or did you do a minimum amount of minutes, or did you just do starters?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, every single player.
Every player that scored at least a single point.
Positive or negative. If they were on the roster, I literally pulled it from fantrax. So if they showed on fantrax, so I think like Rashford would be on United and
Look,
Yeah.
I like the idea. I just feel like it'd be a little bit skewed when you got like
maybe you pulled the top 15 players or something is what you're saying as a top
Yeah.
20. But yeah, that'll give you a little bit of a difference. But I think the general idea is the same.
well, because you wouldn't start that many of those players, right? Like
obviously, again, it was just something I was just curious to see if the top of the table.
Don't get defensive.
No, you're just getting into the minutia of this numbers. I can't answer it for you.
What are the takeaways that you got, Tico, from this?
So some of the stuff that was kind of interesting is Chelsea was the highest, second highest total points, but they had a lot of more players playing. So like their average points per player was like 72.44.
So hold on. So they were of total points. Who was the highest?
Liverpool,
and then Chelsea was second, but they had a much higher. They had a pretty high like average, or it was lower because it was a lower average.
Chelsea's was lower because they had so many players. Like, for example, right, we have Forest, who scored 3,914 points, but they had the highest average player points.
Because
I'm sorry, I take that back. Fulham did, and Fulham scored 3,700 because they had the same starting 11. They didn't have a lot of depth.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good takeaway. Okay, then here's my next question. Outside of the 3 relegated teams, who had the lowest total points?
So
if you
weird.
tell me Manchester United, I'm gonna laugh. It's probably Wolves, I'd guess.
No, let's see. Manchester United and Wolves there were apart by 1 point.
So it is United. So okay, with that in mind, now are you guys really gonna draft like 4 or 5 United players in the first 15 picks?
So look,
This feels so gross.
if it's the sixth pick, you're the sixth pick, and Cunha's there. You're not gonna pick up Cunha?
No, I'm gonna take Isak.
Okay, wait. If it's the 7th pick and Cunha's still there. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying these are all first rounders.
I'm gonna try and trade my 7th round pick for.
So I'm gonna do really quick mock draft, just real quick. First round, let's say for first 15. So we have Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Haaland. Do we agree on the first 3 so far?
No, I mean no. I think
Saka and Saka.
Yeah.
Saka.
In order. This is not order. Saka.
Okay. So far, so good. Yeah.
Bruno.
Did you say Haaland already?
Yeah. Bruno.
So that's 6. I think that's like it's a tier in itself. At that point, there's a drop off.
Those 6, I think there is no conversation about it. Those are the top 6 that are going to go.
So then it's Cunha and Mbeumo,
Eze.
And
then for me, it's Luis Diaz.
Oh.
And then I mean I had Diallo there, but now I'm not so sure.
It's just a big drop off after.
And then Jared Bowen.
Oh, Jared Bowen.
Which also doesn't feel great.
No, but it does feel, but it feels right at times.
Yeah.
He knows.
But
if you want to talk about not feeling great, talk about having to draft Daniel Munoz in the first round.
I love him. I feel like I'm the highest on him out of all you guys, but I think I'm waiting for till mid-second at the earliest for me.
All I know is that when we do finally get into a draft, shit goes pear-shaped at some point.
So I think it's just going to go pear-shaped significantly sooner.
Yeah, because
I think this year's drafts are going to be a bloodbath.
Fucking Derek and fucking Kyle are going to fuck it up. And Thomas. I like Thomas a lot, but sometimes he does his wild pick in the second round. You're like, dude, what are you doing?
I feel like he's pretty good normally. No,
I'm just saying he does a good draft, but he has a wild card in him where he's like spike pick.
Well,
right. I don't want to get too into our own
drafted,
but that sucked. I don't want to get too into our own stuff, but is there anything else? What was our point of this? Oh, we were just saying who's going to be. I don't think you're wrong, Enzo, between Cunha and Mbeumo. I think I might take Mbeumo over Cunha.
Yeah.
He had a better season. And Cunha's an absolute psychopath. I would not be shocked if he either fights a player at United, the coach of United, the other team, a ref. There's multiple targets that he could. But
that's only like a 3-game ban.
I mean, it won't be this time. It's gonna be more.
Yeah, it's multiple offenses.
I don't know, man. I can't wait for the draft. You've already done your top 50, so I'm a little bit jealous.
I kind of want Enzo to do that top 20 spin thing because I would love to see his top 20 or 30. It's going to be
I'll do it. I'll do it. Give me a few weeks.
Jeez. So this year, only 9 players averaged over 13 points per game, and that's including Diallo. Guess how many we had last year?
3?
12.
You said 3? You thought only 3 people averaged over 3. Last year we had.
Just like zoning, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
12.
Last year we had 15.
15. Jeez. Yeah. It was a lower scoring season, is what you're saying. Overall, across the board. Yep.
Remember, there was a lot of goals 2 years ago.
Yeah, there was.
A lot of.
It was a historic level of goals, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Is that it for us, guys?
Yeah.
This has been episode 91 of Draft Offsides. My name is Keith. I'm
Enzo. Follow us at Draft Offsides on all the socials. And we'll see you next week. We got so much great content coming down the pipeline, guys.
Thank you.
So much to look forward to.
Leave us a comment. We love to respond personally.
Yeah. Shaming us definitely works for engagement.
Yeah, it does, because we bounce right back.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah, that went
Do you
longer
want to
than I
spin the
thought it
wheel
was
again
gonna
just for fun?
be. Yeah, spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. I feel like I'm on Wheel of Fortune here.
I did. I posted the London teams winning, having a good year on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And within the first couple hours, I posted it today in the morning. We had like 1,500 views and 52 likes, which 52 is a lot for us.
That is a lot. What's that?
Yeah, I was wondering after like the previous video what the engagement would be like, and it was pretty good.
That's great. Keep it
Yeah.
up.
So yeah.
Okay, ready to spin the wheel?
Yeah. Ooh, went lower.
Anthony Semenyo, 17.